young Zidane after seeing his promising skills, but there were doubts. Zidane wasn't exactly the most physically capable.
Young? Man, that man had a ball
but there were
spot.
doubts. Zidane does the unimaginable and headbutts Materazzi on the biggest stage of football, which led to him being sent off.
What the fuck is wrong with him? Hey man, you know what time it is. If you don't, you must be new here. So let me show you. And that being said, we got us a very special video today. Exactly how good was Okay, let's take our time on this one. Hey, I need y'all help in the comment section with this name pronouncement. I'm gonna take my best try on this. Fuck, man. It's so hard, man. Zinedine or Zinedine. Oh, man, that's so shit. That was a terrible try. Let's try again. It only sound. Zidane.
The debate over football's greatest players will always exist. The differences in generations, leagues, and positions pretty much means that nobody can really tell. We might all have our different opinions, but nonetheless, Zinedine Zidane was regarded as one of the most dominant and greatest maestros the game has ever seen. Considered by most people to be in the top 10 and even possibly top 5 to have ever played the game. But just how good was he exactly? Most of you guys would probably say that while you might acknowledge Zidane as an all-time great player, you might think that he isn't as comparable to Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, or Pele. The problem, however, is that most judgments are based on goals, and I'll admit that I myself do mostly look at those kinds of stats as well. But if you look at what a footballer is judged on, ultimately Zidane's achievements, but more importantly, his performances, especially in big moments, and ability to just dominate and take over games with his presence alone provides a compelling argument for not only his rightful place up there on footballing history, but his spot as one of the best maestros the game has ever seen.
What's a maestro?
Of the many quotes about Zidane, there's what...
What's a maestro? What the fuck? Meaning. Oh, okay, there you go. What the fuck is this guy talking about? I think he's using the wrong word.
That really stands out. Not only because the guy who's saying it is a bit of a narcissist, but also because what he says really highlights Zidane's ruminating ability to stand out amongst the world's best and inspire his team. Zidane was from another planet. When he stepped onto the pitch, the 10 other guys, no matter who they were, just suddenly got better. It's just that simple. Coming from no other than Zlatan Ibrahimovic himself. Zidane, arguably more so than any other player, performed in clutch on the biggest stage. And that is the mark of a truly great player. The ability to perform and control the pace and tempo on the big stage is something that only the very best players can do. But in the case of Zidane, that was something he did on a regular basis. It was Zidane's ability to dominate in these games which makes him so exceptional. Even in a match against the world's best, he would be a class above. So in order to prove it to you guys, we first need to take a look into where it all began. In 1996, Juventus took a gamble on signing a young Zidane after seeing his promising skills. But there were doubts. Zidane wasn't exactly the most physically capable.
Young? Man, that man had a ball spot.
There were doubts. Zidane wasn't exactly the most...
That man has a full patch. He's young? What happened? Is that him? Is that him at a young age? Dang, his hair genetics are unfortunate. Yeah, he got the athletic genetics, but he missed out on the hair. Dang, he has a full patch in the back. Like, that's gone. That's fully scalped. Like, someone went to the back of him and was like, it's gone.
Physically capable player. He was underweight, wasn't fast, and didn't have a lot of strength.
How old was he?
Just on his first practice, these doubts would go away almost instantly. Zidane immediately stood out for one thing: his mastery of the ball. He was a playmaker like no other. Surrounded by 2 or even 3 defenders, he would never lose composure and always make the right plays. And on top of everything, Zidane's vision, understanding of the game, and ball control were also in a league above everyone else's, and it showed. Because that's just how much of a master he was. Zidane would be such a dominant player even without being a main goal-scoring option that they would win the Serie A championship and he would be named the Serie A Foreign Football Player of the Year. This would only continue as the very next season, Zidane with Juventus would win back-to-back Serie A titles, win the FIFA World Player of the Year award, and be nominated into his first Ballon d'Or, ultimately finishing in third place
Ronaldo won that one.
Ronaldo.
If you just watch Ronaldo, oh my gosh, he had 222 votes versus their 63 and 68.
That following summer, it was time for the 1998 World Cup, and it was on his home turf in France. Zidane was on a mission to prove all his doubters wrong. France, being led by Zidane, would end up sweeping every team they faced with relative ease and breeze right onto the final, where they would face favorites and defending champions Brazil. And as many of you know, France would go on to win that final thanks to 2 early goals by no other than Zidane himself. And there were some conspiracy theories going around about that particular World Cup final, but I've already made a video about that. Regardless, France played superb and absolutely deserved that win. This would only be the beginning of Zidane's rise to the top of the footballing
World Cup.
Zidane became a national hero, and with that World Cup win, it would turn out to be the biggest public event in French history, second only to the country's liberation parade after World War II. That year, Zidane would win the World Cup final, Man of the Match, Player of the Tournament, and very first Ballon d'Or. Fast forward to the UEFA Euro 2002 tournament, where Zidane was seemingly at the height of his career. Down at halftime and facing elimination in both the quarterfinal and semifinal, Zidane would again come in clutch to lead his team and save his country, winning France's second ever European Championship, where Zidane was voted the player of the tournament. At the time, they were the only other country to hold the World Cup and European title since West Germany, which you can imagine was a very long time ago. In fact, Zidane is the only player in football history to win a Ballon d'Or, World Cup Player of the Tournament, European Trophy, European Player of the Tournament, and a Champions League title. And yes,
I'm not gonna make no conclusions yet. We're gonna wait till the end of the video. Woo!
you heard that right, no other player in football history has ever done it except for Zidane. However, at club level, things weren't looking as great for Zidane. Juventus fell short of the Serie A championship by only a 1-point differential. As for their Champions League run, Zidane would face a ban after headbutting Hamburg player Johan Keens, which became a huge mess in the media and gave people a glimpse of how hot-headed and tempered he could be. And without their star player, Juventus would end up being eliminated from the tournament. Many people believe that Zidane would have won the 2000 Ballon d'Or because of his European title and amazing club performance, but after the incident, there would be such negative publicity about Zidane that he actually lost out to Luis Figo by such a close margin of 16 points. If it weren't for that headbutt, he would have definitely won another Ballon d'Or. In 2001,
the fuck, man? Why do you do that? There's no point. What the hell? There was no point of headbutting him with your bald ass head. We already know you're great. You might have been losing that game. He might have fouled you. I mean, he definitely did foul you, but bro, you're one of the greatest players in the world. You gotta keep your composure. That's what great players do. That just made me mad. Like, why do you do that? That just like ruined a part of your career right there. Like, come on. Come on now.
Signed with Real Madrid for a then record €77.5 million transfer fee and spearhead what has become known to be the Galacticos era. Real Madrid president Florentino Perez has even admitted that out of all the superstars they wanted, Zidane was absolutely their #1 priority. If you look at the players they acquired in that Galacticos campaign like Ronaldo, Beckham, and Luis Figo, it really says a lot that they made acquiring Zidane their main priority. In his very first season for Real Madrid, Zidane would be the main man for the way he controlled the game, pace, and tempo of the team. Zidane would win the La Liga title, Champions League title, Spanish Super Cup title, UEFA Super Cup title, and Intercontinental title. When it came for the 2002 World Cup, just exactly how important Zidane was for his French national team really showed. Zidane would have an injury early on in the opening match and would miss out the next 2 group stage matches, all of which France failed to score a single goal and lost every game. Facing elimination, Zidane had no choice but to play through the injury. He was even wearing a knee brace during the entire match. It was clear that without their leader and playmaker, this would be the worst statistical performance of any defending World Cup champions in history, and France would be on their way home. In the 2004 Euros, Zidane would again lead his country and make it to the quarterfinal until they lost to the eventual champions and dark horses, Greece. And it was a great match, with France controlling a majority of the possessions and with way more shots on target. But as you know, in football, it only takes that one magical moment to score and win. Now, in 2006, Zidane had announced that it would be his final season as a football player and planned to retire from both club and international play at 34 years old. And I believe that this was truly the biggest moment in Zidane's career. He was on a mission to end his career the best way any player in history could have, by winning the World Cup. Zidane and France would sweep through their opponents again to make it to the final, and I honestly hold, the man was completely dominating a fully loaded Brazilian team with guys like Ronaldo was on the team.
Let's see who won.
Carlos.
Nah. Whoever won is better. I don't care. Whoever won is better. This is literally legacy changing right here. Whoever won this matchup is better on my list.
Zidane had complete dominance in this game and effortlessly broke down the Brazilian midfield and defense, controlling the ball with such ease that it honestly looked like it took no effort out of him at all. Although he might not have scored, he was clearly the man of the match, as his mastery of control, vision, passing, and leadership just completely ruminated throughout the game. He played so well, in fact, that the Brazilian players weren't even angry when they lost. Instead, they all gave him his respects and acknowledged just how perfectly he played that match. Now, when it came to the final against Italy, we all know what happened, but let's break it down anyways. Zidane opens up the score sheet with what I believe is one of the most beautiful and iconic penalty kicks I have ever seen. I even try going for this type of penalty kick every time I play FIFA. But anyways, Italy would equalize with a header from Marco Materazzi, and the game would go on to extra time. Marco Materazzi says an insult to Zidane about his mother and sister in the 110th minute of extra time. This is when one of the most iconic events in football history happened. Zidane does the unimaginable and headbutts Materazzi on the biggest stage of football, which led to him being sent off.
What the fuck is wrong with him? His big head ass, his bald head ass, his old ass. Why does he do this? Bro, you're on a... Oh my gosh. Oh, he literally headbutted him so hard he knocked his whole body down. Look at this.
Headbutts Materazzi on the biggest stage of football, which led...
He literally... Who does this? Who does that? Look at... He knocked him off both feet with his head. Why is he hitting people with his head? Who does this? Why is this a thing? Bro, I can't. I'm trying to literally like this guy. I'm really trying. He's a great player, but this is making me mad. Like, this is stupid. Like, I understand. Talked about your mom. Talk about your sister. You might have talked about your girl. Bro, win the game. That's all you gotta do. Like, bro, we reacted to multiple players. Nobody has yet to, I've never seen nobody do something like this. Twice? You already had a second chance. You saw what it did to your career the first time. Why would you do it again? And this time it was worse. It was blatant. You literally out in the open. He literally out in the open. Like, what are you doing? Everyone sees your big head. And you're hitting people with it, bro.
being sent off.
Oh my
France would end up
gosh.
losing 5-3 in a penalty shootout against Italy, and
lost.
the most tragic part is if Zidane had just let whatever Materazzi said slide just for that moment, France would have most likely
better than
won,
Ronaldo,
because
no.
the 3 penalties that they
I don't
missed
care.
probably would have never happened if Zidane had a chance to be in the shootout. Also, for some insane reason, Franck Ribéry and Thierry Henry were substituted out of the match just a few minutes before the end of regulation, right before the penalty shootout. And the ones that just happened to miss their shots were no other than the 2 people that subbed them in. I mean, I understand that they must have been exhausted from running around all game, but there were only a few minutes left. Who in their right minds would sub out Thierry Henry and Franck Ribéry of all people after just losing your team captain with only a few minutes left to play in the World Cup final? If all 3 would have taken their shots, I'm almost certain that they would have made them in. I genuinely have no idea what the French coach was thinking. Imagine just how much greater
it wasn't
Zidane
the coach. Bro, what is he about to say? What is he about to say?
if he hadn't had such a wild temper that cost him the 2000 Ballon d'Or and the 2006 FIFA World Cup trophy, which definitely would have brought him closer to the conversation when it comes to being one of the greatest players of all time.
No, he's not in it.
But anyways, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy. It's been a while since I've continued the how good were these players.
This guy literally, he's still a legend. He's still a legend because what he did. He still won a World Cup, but he could have been in the conversation. He could have been in the conversation more if he wasn't so stupid. That was stupid. I don't care about no hot temper. There's a lot of players who get mad. There's a lot of players who get mad. Like there's so much players that get completely angry, but in the World Cup finals, where your career's on the line, you literally hear someone talk trash, like you don't hear it all the time in the stands. There's people in the stands like, I hope you die. Like there's people in the stands who are saying crazier stuff than what he said. So you're telling me you saw the guy, walked up to him and said, and knocked him down with your head and ruined your career. He's still a great player. He's not in my top 5 though. He ain't my top 5. My top 5 ain't. They don't act like that, bro. That was, that just made me angry. But I hope y'all enjoyed that. He's still a great player. He's a phenomenal, legendary player. But that right there just made me mad. Like, come on. Like you literally were this close. Why are you doing that? Well, that being said, click these 2 boxes. Enjoy the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below some suggestions on some players. Peace out.